This video is sponsored by Kloot. Kloot is this awesome K-pop subscription box that brings you K-pop merch and Korean snacks directly to your door. They currently offer themed boxes from groups such as BTS, Blackpink, EXO, Twice, and new groups coming soon. You can customize the box by selecting one or more biases to fit your preference. The box offers a variety of items ranging from apparel, stationery, keychains, posters, and so much more. You can grab your box by clicking on the link below. We came risking our lives today. These were the words that were uttered just before two ex-girl group members exposed the inhumane conditions they were suffering at the hands of their former company. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Midnight Theories, and if you're new here, welcome to Midnight Theories. Today we are shining a light on the stories of Aila and Baby Boo, two girl groups that were enslaved by their companies due to an exploitative contract. But before we jump into the video, I'd like to introduce someone special that helped me uncover this case, my fellow K-pop detective, Evangeline, or most of you may know her as Ploopy678.
Hi everyone, I'm Evangeline, also known as Ploopy678 here on YouTube, and I make videos about the K-pop industry, ranging from dance covers to videos about underrated idols and so much more. So don't forget to check out part 2 of our collab over on my channel, where we did a video on Seoul, the girl group who recently went viral for supposedly being the shortest lasting group in K-pop history.
Some believe an artist can only do as good as its company. Whether you believe it or not, you can let me know at the end of the video. But with so many startup companies thinking they can be the next big thing without a foundation to stand on, they rely on unsuspecting youths, bargaining with them by tantalizing them with fame and riches. Aspiring entrepreneur Kim Dae-woo was no different. He started his first entertainment agency, Plain Entertainment, in 2013 and established his second agency, Hyundai Company, in 2015. Being a small-scale company, they were unexpectedly able to manage several artists under the Hyundai name, most notably their girl group Baby Boo, as well as their junior boy group LST, and a pre-debut girl group in progress called Z9ZH. But what many overlook or are just unaware of is the CEO's first attempt to step into the industry. Kim Dae-woo and Plain Entertainment were working hard behind the scenes learning the fundamentals of managing and maintaining a group so they could develop one of their very own in the future. Once established, the startup company made their first announcement of an unnamed 4-member girl group debuting sometime later that year. Plain steadily gained attention from netizens out of curiosity, waiting for their identities to be revealed. It wasn't until December of that year when Plain officially revealed the names and faces of the group. Aila was composed of 4 young 20-something-year-olds named Rahi, Jiu, Yena, and Kelly. They expressed their mission was to, quote, break the prejudice of girl groups. The quartet made their long-anticipated debut on December 28, 2013, but as soon as their music video hit airways, the group was met with terrible comments criticizing every aspect of their debut. The song was supposed to bring viewers a sense of unity with their lyrics and hold a deep meaning that true beauty comes from within and not from their outer appearance. But the message was quickly overlooked when just about everyone diverted their focus on the low-budget quality of the music video and poor mixing. Malicious comments would only follow and worsen once their first music stage was broadcasted. Very few groups get the chance to perform on a real music show because of the time restrictions, and the very few available time slots are usually prioritized for bigger or well-known groups. So when you're a rookie group under a relatively unknown company, it's almost impossible to grace the stage at least once. But somehow, CEO Kim was able to pull some string behind the scenes or have the connections to obtain a slot for Aila on Music Core. This would lead to the infamous stage that changed the trajectory of the group. On January 11, 2014, the quartet would share the stage with some of the biggest names at the time, such as Rain, TVXQ, Girls' Day, and VIX. This was it, the moment every aspiring idol could only dream of, now manifesting into reality. The second they step on stage could change their life significantly. They stood on stage getting into position, feeling the warmth radiate from the stage lights kissing their skin, listening, waiting for the first beat to travel to their earpiece to entrance the audience with their performance. Aila's stage was mediocre at best, with some saying it was, quote, too painful to watch. Their stage performance video was flooded with netizens attacking their appearance, age, or entirely blaming the company for their poor planning and juvenile costume design, suggesting the group could have done significantly better with a different concept or something more mature to fit the vibe of the song. The thumbs down bar under the live stage only mirrored the audience reception, leaving Aila to have one of the worst debut stages in quite some time. And shockingly enough, an hour after their performance, the group disbanded, leaving the 4 members to disappear from the industry. This left many to assume that they disbanded because of the horrible reception they received, or Aila was simply an experimental group. The reason behind their disbandment would only be uncovered 5 years later, but until then, their existence was erased along with their company name. A year after Aila's disbandment, Plain Entertainment CEO Kim Tae-woo rebranded the company with a new name from Plain Entertainment to Hyundai Company. This may have been an attempt to wipe Aila away from their history and start anew with a whole new batch of trainees. Shine, Sori, Tan, and Chae were the new faces of Hyundai's new girl group, Baby Boo. This group released their single Boo 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 on May 27, 2015. However, the album wasn't released until June 4th, where the album had to be re-edited / re-recorded 3 times. Already, Hyundai wasn't off to the best start, but maybe things would change after they began debut activities. One could only hope. Once everything was situated, the 4 began activities on June 5th, 2015, with their first live stage being on Music Bank. The group placed 6 on Naver for real-time searches, which later reached the 3rd by the second half of the show. Hyundai was pleased with the attention surrounding Baby Boo, and so were broadcasting stations, that they invited the group to perform on Inkigayo, Show Champion, and ended promotions in October on Music Core. The group was increasingly gaining traction, now reaching #1 in real-time searches, but possibly not all for the right reasons. Similar to Aila, Baby Boo faced the same issue where they were being criticized for the cute concept, and more so, netizens attacking the company for not properly preparing the group, nor investing enough time and money on them. But unlike Aila, Baby Boo were able to persevere, overcoming any negativity thrown their way, and began working on their first comeback. On January 19, 2016, Baby Boo made their first comeback with the single 12 O'Clock, but was strangely unaccompanied by a music video. When it came to their live stage, fans of the group instantly noticed something strange. It seemed that 2 of the members, Sori and Chae, were nowhere in sight, and Shine and Dan were accompanied by 2 female backup dancers instead. Hyundai kept quiet about the situation until they couldn't avoid it, regrettably making the official announcement that Sori and Chae left the group. The remaining 2 members, Tan and Shine, proceeded as a duo and passed it off as a subunit. That aside, their single shockingly became a first-place nominee for a music show against YG's boy group Winner. Now, this is the part in Baby Boo's lineup history where things become a little convoluted, but I'll try to make it as clear as possible. After their 12 O'Clock comeback, the duo released their 3rd single Kiss Me, but as a trio, now adding former backup dancer Dabin to the front lines. Later, somewhere between late September to early October, Chiun was added to the lineup, and by December, a 3rd new member, Sehi, was introduced. The newly reformed Baby Boo was now a 5-piece group and released their 4th upbeat single right now. Promotions for the single would run short, lasting only a month, perhaps to do with the 2 new members Jiyeon and Sehi running into some complication with the company and getting the hell out of there as soon as promotions were over. With the group reverting back to 3, My Boo's Baby Boo's fandom began to speculate something was going on behind the scenes for 2 sets of girls to leave so soon. Hyundai had to defuse the speculations before fans would try to pry into their company's affairs by having the group release a brand new and possibly their best single yet, titled Keep Your Eyes on My Body. This EDM-inspired single brought a whole new life to Baby Boo and drew in new fans. And later in the year, Dabin would join The Unit, a survival show to reboot an idol's career. And OG Baby Boo member Shine made a solo debut in November before subsequently parting ways with the company. By mid-2018, Hyundai were back where they started with 2 members left. With desperation to keep the group afloat, CEO Kim brought 2 familiar faces. Hajin and Jelly joined the group sometime in May, but didn't stay for long, leaving in July. Desperate than ever and on their last leg, Hyundai held auditions to find new gems, which brings us to November 2018, when Baby Boo is completely reformed once again. OG member Dan is out and so is Dabin. However, in an unexpected twist of events, OG member Shine rejoins and is accompanied by 3 new faces, Hwan, Hyokyung, and Jiyeon. The group would release their final single Ring 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 in February. On the other end, former members Dan and Dabin, now going by Dal, were starting a new journey. The former Baby Boo members came together to create their own independent group called Dalbin. This announcement was made through Baby Boo's official social media accounts as the 2 took over their accounts and rebranded them. However, in early 2019, for unknown reasons, the duo once again rebranded their accounts to YULiONi and subsequently unofficially expanding their group by 2 familiar faces. Hajin and Rui, formerly known as Jelly, were also former members of Baby Boo. Together, they would post covers and blogs pursuing music and sharing snippets of their lives. This union brought temporary joy to MyBoos that were concerned over the group's status due to their absence, but little did they know, a huge storm was actually brewing behind the scenes.
Okay, so everything really started to unravel on the 13th of March 2019 when two anonymous K-pop girl group members appeared on Coin Law Room, a show that is supposed to allow victims of scams and other similar crimes to seek help from lawyers. And as you might have guessed, these two idols were on the show because they were having some trouble with their company. So firstly, they accused their company of not providing them with proper housing. Their dormitory was allegedly pretty unsafe, and the water, electricity, and gas was also not paid for. So what this meant was that sometimes there was no electricity for the lights, and the dorm was completely dark. And other times, because there was no water or gas, the members couldn't even shower at home, and literally had to resort to begging the owner of a barbershop nearby to allow them to, shower at his barbershop. And then when it came to food, the company only provided the members with uncooked rice, and this rice had bugs in it. Now, if you're watching this while eating, I would suggest you turn away for like 3 seconds because I'm gonna show a photo of this so-called rice. And as you can see, this is definitely more bug than rice. And so the members had to spend time actually picking these bugs out of the rice, which at that point I would have just bought my own rice instead, and I'm sure the members wanted to do that, except the problem was that they were never paid throughout their entire career, despite attending over 500 events. But perhaps worst of all, these idols were made to perform at clubs and other such venues, where they claimed that they experienced regular sexual harassment.
엉덩이 만지고 허벅지 쓰다듬고
막내였어요. 여러.
But whenever the CEO found out about this sexual harassment, he would just dismiss and minimize the members' concerns.
말씀드렸더니 너네가 딸 같아서 귀여워서 그렇지라고 하시더라고요.
Needless to say, these horrific allegations gained widespread attention as people tried to figure out who these two anonymous idols were. A few Hawkeye netizens picked up on some small clues, such as the members' hairstyles and ages, as well as the fact that one of the members claimed that she had been on the show, The Unit, and eventually managed to correctly identify them as being none other than YULiONi's Dan and Dayu, who, if you recall, came in 51st on The Unit. However, both women remained completely silent on the issue and mysteriously continued their promotions as if nothing happened. This really confused netizens at the time, but looking back now, it definitely makes sense that they might have been purposely hiding their plans and activities from the company. So maybe the company actually had no idea what was going on at this point. But by the time May rolled around, let's just say that Hyundai Entertainment was now fully aware of Dan and Dayu's plans, and a full-out war had been waged between the members and the company. On the 8th of May, a show called True Story Expedition decided to do an episode on Hyundai Entertainment, and this episode started off with a Hyundai Entertainment employee basically screaming his lungs out at Dan, Dayu, and the reporters when being questioned about all of the allegations. Meanwhile, Dan and Dayu, who at this point weren't even trying to hide their identities anymore, went on the show to double down on all of their claims and even made some additional accusations, such as the fact that they were apparently forced to pay for their own vocal and dance lessons, as well as cosmetic procedures like carboxy shots, which are usually things that are paid for by the company. Next, photos of the members' contracts were revealed, and get this, it turns out that these contracts didn't even have a start or end date. Instead, the members were promised that their contract would end 5 years after the release of their first single album. And the definition of single album, according to the contract, was an album that contained 2 or more songs. Now, you might be thinking, this actually sounds pretty reasonable, right? That is, until you find out that the company then decided to only release 1 song each and every single time. What this meant was that, despite putting out numerous comebacks over the past 3 to 4 years, both women technically still hadn't released their first single album yet. And it was clear that the company was just using this trick or loophole to keep the members trapped under the contract for as long as possible, with no end in sight. As if all of this wasn't damning enough, numerous idols who had previously also worked under Hyundai Entertainment actually came on the show to back up Dan and Dahyul's claims. And one of these idols was Rahi from Aila, who, if you recall, was the group that disbanded just 1 hour after their first performance. For years, people had been wondering why the group ended so suddenly, and on this episode, Rahi finally revealed what happened behind the scenes. It turns out all of the members of Aila unanimously decided to disband because they could no longer tolerate the verbal abuse from their CEO.
깜짝이야.
왜 자꾸 소리 지르세요? 야, 이 새끼야, 네가 잘못한 거 이기냐, 지금. 근데 저희 아까 지금 저희가 말했는데 방금 잘못했다!
However, when they asked to terminate their contracts, the company instead sued the members for 95 million won, resulting in a 2-year-long lawsuit which thankfully ended in Aila's favor. Additionally, a former trainee as well as Jelly from Baby Boo accused the company of not providing them with adequate food and housing.
일단은 그 월세를 나눠서 내고 있다는 것 자체로도 믿음이 안 간다고 하시더라고요.
Overall, all of the evidence presented revealed just how financially exploitative the company was, and the fact that multiple artists from the same company all happened to have such similar experiences had to be more than a coincidence. It was clear to everyone watching that Hyundai Entertainment was a company with a pattern and history of abuse, and so some netizens started petitioning for the company to be shut down. Facing increasing backlash from the public, Hyundai Entertainment claimed that they were now in the process of terminating Dan and Dahyul's contracts. However, the two members went ahead and filed a lawsuit anyways, and so the True Story Expedition team put them in touch with Song Hae-mi, a lawyer who decided to help the members with their case. With the help of Song Hae-mi and her team, Dan and Dahyul eventually managed to get the courts to temporarily suspend their contracts, allowing the members to break free from their company, at least for the time being. But of course, this was just a temporary solution, and the contracts continued to loom over the members like a dark cloud, which is why in July, Dahyul and Song Hae-mi put out an update that they were now trying to get the contracts permanently terminated. Unfortunately, that was really the last update I could find on this case, and it is unclear if the contract termination ever actually ended up happening. But you know what? In the end, it didn't matter anyways, because Hyundai Entertainment's reputation was so badly damaged that the company was forced to close its doors in late 2020, finally putting an end to what could be one of the worst companies in K-pop.
Unfortunately, Aila's and Baby Boo's cases are nothing new or uncommon in the industry. The reason cases such as these are not widely known or talked about is because very few will ever come forward or pursue legal action. Some even afraid of the repercussion of being blacklisted in the industry. Although this case took a toll on many of these young women, there was something good to come out of this situation. Through this experience, Dal partnered with lawyer Song Hae-mi to start a campaign that helps idols out of exploitative contracts, spreading awareness and trying to dismantle the system of oppression. These women bravely came forward and successfully won their cases, and I wish nothing but the best for every Aila and Baby Boo member and hope they heal from this experience. Shortly after Dan and Dao's triumphant attempts to expose the inhumane treatment under Hyundai, YULiONi slowly ceased activity on the group's accounts and left them untouched after late August, leaving their status unknown. This would also be around the time Dao joined NS Entertainment in hopes of rebooting her idol career. She was set to debut in the girl group Crescendo, which was rumored to debut in July/August of 2020, but due to quote complications, the debut was postponed to 2021. Unwilling to bargain with her career, she left Crescendo sometime after. Since then, she has continued to pursue her dreams in the entertainment industry and participated and won first place in the Best Entertainer pageant. Dan, the other half of YULiONi, has not entirely left the entertainment industry. She currently works on set as a crew member for JTBC's Miracle Food. Hajin and Rui, the two unofficial members of YULiONi, have gone their separate paths and lived normal lives, further cementing the idea that YULiONi is no longer a group. Shine, one of the original and longest-lasting members of Baby Boo, created her own performance duo called Happity and changed her name to Bada. She occasionally streams and posts them on her YouTube channel and has also changed careers to pursue modeling and is often seen posting with her former Baby Boo member Howon. Howon, on the other hand, does modeling part-time. After Baby Boo's disbandment, she went to beauty school and received her beauty license. She currently works as a hairstylist and left the music industry. Well, with the exception of participating in covers with Shine and Hyokyung. Hyokyung continues to keep in touch with her Baby Boo members. After she left the group, she joined existing girl group Blue Fox in 2019, but left the following year. Hyokyung wasn't the only member to join a new group after Baby Boo. YULiONi, a member who left in 2017, joined Rolling Culture 1 and became one half of the rock band Rocket Girl. They debuted in 2019 but haven't posted anything since. Jiyeon, one of the last members to join Baby Boo under the reformation period, now takes her dancing to YouTube where she posts her covers. Since their last appearance on Music Core 5 years ago, all the members of Aila retired from the idol industry and left the public eye without a trace. Or so we thought. Hajin, former Baby Boo backup dancer turned member, seemed to eerily resemble Aila's Yena, and as you can see on screen, they share many similarities, leaving many to speculate that they are the same person, but I'll let you come to your own conclusion. Hong Young, or better known by her stage name Ai, was one of the Aila members to bravely show her face and come forward about the abuse. She now lives a normal life, and with the exception of her interview, she has stayed away from the public eye. Unfortunately, there is no public information about the whereabouts of Kelly or Xion, and assume they are living private lives and have retired from the idol industry. Plain and Hyunda are just another prime example of small companies taking advantage of young individuals, leaving many walking away from their dreams or haunted by the humiliation. Especially in Aila's case, leaving the mark of them being the fastest disbanding girl group for their 16-day streak, and it looked as if they would be branded with that title for the rest of their lives because what company in their right mind would spend millions and exhaust all resources just to run their group in the ground the second they launch? Oh, don't forget to check out part 2 over on Ploopy's channel where we cover the current fastest disbanding girl group Solia and how they broke that record. And lastly, a big thanks to Baby Boo Intl on Twitter for providing me with information on some of the members, and a big thanks to Ploopy for helping me cover this complex case. With that being said, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And once again, I'd like to thank Kloot for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out their products using the link below, and use code MIDNIGHT at checkout. And as always, thank you for watching and enjoy your stay.